So we've been talking very, very bearish here for what, 10 minutes? More than 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Is there any bullish news, Graham? Is this it? So the cycle's over? We're done?
Bullish news. Well, yeah, I mean, has anything really changed? Welcome back to Bitcoin.com's Token Narratives. I'm Graham Stone, joined by David Sencil, the news and research gigabrain. How are you doing, David?
Pretty good. Friday's nice. It's a beautiful day today as well. It's been pretty nasty weather-wise, so I'm happy.
All right, so we are here for episode 76 of the best token-related crypto podcast. Token narrative related crypto podcast on the internet. Let's get into our gut check, David. Yeah, we had a bit of volatility here. Bitcoin's actually doing all right now. It seems after dipping to, I think, 100 to the lower range there of the liquidation wicks down to like 106. Now we're at like 110. There was that massive sell-off in gold, a historical sell-off. I think people are saying like the biggest in 30 years or something, like a one-day drawdown of a 5 or 6%, equal to roughly the entire market cap of Bitcoin or more.
Humbling.
One-day sell-off of gold. And at that time, a lot of people were sort of like excited because Bitcoin seemed to react oppositely, seemed to have a decorrelated reaction there. But I don't know, it's just kind of seemed like noise to me. Actually, it pumped for a minute and then came back, and we're just like kind of ranging here, up and down, up and down. When it's up, we're so back. Everyone's bullish. I feel, at least that's how I feel right today. I feel it's good. Oh yeah, 110, we're good. A few days ago, 106. Oh man, we're definitely going below 100. And it's so anyway, the whole crypto timeline, the KOLs out there are divided, right? And as you noted here, Blockworks CEO Yano said on the 1000X podcast, which is one of my favorites. I think it's one of yours too.
Definitely.
David. Yeah. He said that this is the most confused he's seen market participants in many years in crypto, the least consensus he's seen in the group chats. And I think that is borne out as well by some of the key opinion leaders on the internet. Most notably, perhaps, is Chris Berniske. So Chris Berniske, one of the most respected VCs, early investors in crypto. And he put out a post about a week ago, basically saying that he has flipped bearish. He now holds 39% in cash and 61% in long-term investments, which include non-crypto assets. So he's got a pretty cautious approach here right now. Uh-oh, my dog's barking. I'll let you take this over while I deal with him.
No problem. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, his positions currently kind of reflect that he's really, really not. He's cautious about like short to medium term market action, and is really focused on the long term. He again has said in this post, he said that he's like investing in high quality assets, and he thinks that the crypto prices right now are relatively high. And he's not going to really deploy capital right now with these current valuations, meaning that, again, I don't think he states it directly, but he's a bit defensive, bearish even. And so this was seen by many as a key figure in crypto kind of signaling that we might have topped, that we might be near the end of this cycle, and it caused quite a lot of commotion on the timeline this week.
Yep. And then there's Taiki Maeda from Steady Lads, also saying, this is the first time in my life I've been net short crypto. So that's
wild.
KOL saying that, bearish. And then another one is Peter Brandt. You know Peter Brandt?
Of course. He's the he's a TA guy. He's a boomer TA guy.
Boomer TA. So let me see if I can bring up his post here. In 1977, soybeans formed a broadening top and then declined 50% in value. Bitcoin today is forming a similar pattern. A 50% decline in BTC will put MSTR underwater. Whether I'm right or wrong, you have to admit this old guy has the gonads to make big calls, and then he posts this chart showing, like, I don't know, some kind of chart. What is it? A broadening wedge? What is it? Broadening top for soybeans and then for Bitcoin. So there's that.
Then there's also what's it called? There's also the backdrop to all of this. I think to all of this bearishness is really the fact that this narrative, this meme of the 4-year cycle has been with us for so long, and we are currently in the 4th year, right? So by this kind of long-lasting narrative, we should be ending soon. And so it makes people, I think, in crypto who've been kind of hit over the head with this narrative for so long, almost kind of like intrinsically or naturally bearish, because it's the end of the 4-year cycle. It's the end of the 4-year cycle. The 4-year cycle.
Yeah, exactly. We're actually past, I think, the number of days in the official 4-year cycle.
So I mean, yeah, that's I would say you could probably ignore most of this bearishness that we've just kind of talked about if we were like closer to the halvening or this kind of thing. It's I think kind of something we have to fight against in crypto is this idea of the 4-year cycle.
Yeah. And then another thing is there's this growing narrative. Well, people have been talking about this for quite a while, that, the OGs, the crypto OGs are all selling. They know, that these are the people who know what's going on, right? They've all been distributing their coins.
And they have been selling, right? Like this has been true. For the past 2-3 months, you've seen these massive Bitcoin whales. We're talking about Bitcoin, not some of the lesser coins here, selling billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. And so, yeah, it makes sense that this would make a lot of people uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then we also have this chart, which I'm going to bring up, which is showing just how badly the non-Bitcoin assets have performed since mid-2021. Basically, they're all down.
Yeah, this is crazy though, right? Like, so this shows you the top 50 altcoins and how they are really, 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 really below their all-time high. And so I think this kind of explains what we've seen and we've talked about, Graham, for a long time now, pretty much this entire year, which is people feel like we're not in a bull market, right? This has been kind of a consistent thing for this past year. It doesn't feel like a proper bull market, right? It's definitely been a bull market in Bitcoin, but not so much in everything else. And this chart really kind of encapsulates that, right? Which is, yeah, if you're not in Bitcoin and maybe one or two other projects like, Hype, or you missed a couple of these big wins, then you haven't really had a great time in crypto, especially if you bought and you didn't sell quickly, right? The narratives seem to come fast and dump faster and faster, right? And so,
yeah. Whereas in 2021, early 2021, you could buy anything in crypto and make a ton of money. And so that's sort of what a lot of these people who have big accounts on X and who sort of made it, they are all, that's what they're used to, I guess. That's where like they got their money from, and they thought they were geniuses. But since then, it's just kind of been down only with a few pumps here and there.
Also, not to sound like an old man, but I'm gonna do it. Kobe had a kind of a very good week this past week, and to me, it started off with this post of someone saying like, "How does it feel?" Someone asked Kobe basically, I think, like, "How does it feel to be a billionaire?" You know. Did you see this post, Graham?
Yeah.
And he made this kind of long reply being like, people think I'm a billionaire, but if you just go by the hard numbers, right? Like if you just go by the amount of money that I put in, and if I played the market perfectly, if I sold every top, if I bought every bottom since I've been in crypto, if I got into the ETH ICO and I held it and, do this. And he said, if you just do like the perfect game, if I played the perfect game, I'd still have like $500 million. It's just, like, he's just like, people don't understand basically what $1 billion is and how hard it is to make that kind of money. And that almost nobody plays it perfectly like that, right? You sell after a 5x or a 10x, right? You don't hold like these Bitcoin whales do for 10 plus years. And so I think there's also this thing, the way this connects with all this stuff is a lot of the people, market participants now, I think, are really trying to get the lottery tickets, and they're not really trying to hold for a year, let alone 5 years. Yeah. So it's making people, I think, very frustrated and ask, like, so we had somebody in the comments on X right now, Sook Army 123, where is alt season, and a crying face, right? I think you're getting pockets of alt season, but I don't know if we're going to get a proper alt season. Let me put it this way. I saw this post this week. I can't remember who posted, but it was someone who I respect. And they said, if Bitcoin has a proper blow off top, right, then we will get an alt season. But if we don't, probably not going to get an alt season,
Yeah.
And who's been buying Bitcoin? Institutions. Those are the people, institutions, DATs, these players. They're not going to be participating in a blow off top, They're not going to be running those prices up like that in a parabolic shape. So you'd have to have retail kind of FOMO in at some point. And then I do agree with this poster. You get a parabolic run in Bitcoin. I think that pretty much guarantees that you'll get an alt season at that point. But otherwise, you're probably not going to get one.
Yeah. And then I've seen quite a few people posting sort of despondent things. This one guy I saw said that, most people I know personally a long time and whom I consider to have some brains are moving on from crypto to other things in life. They just keep their Bitcoin, but no longer invest in new crypto projects, let alone alts. And everyone's just sort of fed up with the constant grifting in the crypto space. And it's a reflection of the price isn't going up and everyone's frustrated.
Yeah. This to me, though, sounds like the normal kind of thing that you hear every cycle. I remember hearing this in 2017. I remember hearing this in 2021, right? Like, oh, the grift is unbelievable. The coins aren't going up. There's no more opportunities like the ETH ICO.
Yeah.
This
It'll
kind
all
of thing.
melt away as soon as there is an actual pump. Of course.
Yeah. And So I don't know if how much I put into things like that. Again, we've got some comments. Aurelian, shout out to Aurelian. OGs are getting old. I think there's also some truth to this. The OGs are getting old and they want to sell for like a better life, right? For Bitcoin whales, maybe. Like you said, I think Kobe has talked about this a lot, which is this crypto tends to burn out people because just the pace, and it's so easy to hit a landmine and then your net worth is smoked, at least for like a cycle. You have to wait for the next cycle before you can kind of realize any gains. And so, yeah, I think there's truth to that as well. And then this other person, Chad.
Useless Chad.
Alt season feels like a myth now.
Kind of does.
It does, especially for I think it would feel like a myth for anyone who entered after 2021, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a myth to me because I remember it. It does feel. It's hard to remember it properly though, right? It's just like, oh yeah, I guess that did happen. That was crazy. But if you have entered since 2021, you got to be like, I don't believe this. This is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. So
meanwhile, people are making several X's on just like TradFi stocks like Robinhood or a million other different plays out there. A lot of the crypto traders in the alt markets have sort of moved on to other greener pastures as we have this sort of drastic underperformance in the crypto world.
Yeah. Well, so we've been talking very, very bearish here for 10 minutes? More than 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Is there any bullish news, Graham? Is this it? So the cycle's over? We're done?
Bullish news. Well, yeah, I mean, has anything really changed in the macro? Okay, obviously the cycle, right? We're at the end of the cycle, but the 4-year cycle. But the reality is, though, that the macro picture looks quite good, doesn't it? Bitcoin, maybe not for alts, but for the Bitcoin as an alternative asset, right? Like when you see gold hitting these insane, like up 75% this year, adding multiple entire market caps of Bitcoin over the last several months. You see, global liquidity keeps ramping up. I saw something from the Kobasi letter, which said that we hit 140 trillion in global M2 money supply, highest ever. And as I don't know, like it does seem like it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin catches a bid.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing for me there is if you look at you've said this for several weeks now, talking about gold, right? Like, oh, gold went up 5%, which is like $1 trillion, which is like the Bitcoin. I mean, it's just like it puts it into perspective how much things can move within crypto. If Bitcoin is just like nothing compared to the gold market cap, and gold will gain or lose huge fractions of the total Bitcoin market cap. So to me, that's a key issue. Now, here's a post from Fred Krueger. Again, I think this captures kind of the bullishness that I feel, which is we're probably gonna have rate cuts in 6 days. We're probably going to have another rate cut in 48 days, and then we're going to probably have another rate cut in 97 days. And then we're going to have a new Fed chair in May of next year who will make Bernanke look like Paul Volcker. Enjoy missing out on the next bull market cycle theorists. I think this is kind of directionally correct, right? I think we're going to have multiple rate cuts, at least 2, probably 3 this year. Right. And then we're going to have.
There's a rate cut coming, 96% chance odds of it happening on Polymarket. Once the the rates on just holding cash, the treasury rates, come down to a certain level, there's like record amounts of money in these money market funds right now. Once the yield people are earning on that drops down to a certain level, I don't know what it is, 2%. Right now it's like what, 4.5. Once it drops down to a certain percent, all that money is going to be looking for opportunities.
Well, not opportunities. It's going to have to go out on the risk curve to beat inflation. So it's not even it's not even an opportunity. If you stay
forced to go out on the risk curve.
Yeah, because otherwise
is going to be forced to go out on the risk curve, right?
Yes.
Where is it going to go? Okay, we already have stocks. Everyone says stocks are way too overvalued. Okay, there's arguably a bubble in AI stocks, tech stocks. The valuations are the multiples are insane. Everyone knows that. People are just going to be pumping money into that? Certainly some will go there. But there's a pretty strong case to be made that it's going to go into other things, whether that's like commodities, gold, oil, I don't know, like soybeans.
Probably
and of
not.
course, Bitcoin is likely to be one of the places where that massive fall of money moves when rates finally do get to a certain point, which is inevitable.
And when like straight money printing starts, right? Like,
yeah,
just to give you a taste of what probably likely to come to the U.S., I think the new Japanese PM. Did you see this, Graham? Announced her first.
She's going to run it hot.
She's going to run it hot. She's giving to. This is the classic thing that happened in the past to fight inflation. Right? She says this in the bill. To fight inflation, she's printing money. She's giving fuel subsidies. She's giving what's it called? Food checks to families and stuff, right? I.e., she's giving money away to help fight inflation. I mean, that's going to be coming to the U.S. next year, most likely.
Yeah. Governments around the world are clamoring to devalue their currency because that's the way the global economy works. You need to have a lower valued currency in order to be competitive in the global export market. And so it's just they're constantly doing it all around the world, and there's no end in sight there.
Not only that, but the one constraint that they have is if the U.S. isn't doing it at all, because it puts a lot of pressure. It puts a lot of pressure on their currency, and so once the U.S. really starts to do it, they can open it up even more. And so there is this kind of like anticipation of like, yeah, come on, the U.S., when are you going to do it? When can we go super dovish? And so again, that's why I think you have to be very, very bullish. Again, we're getting comments in here from Useless Chad, right? Do you think we're going to have another blow off top this cycle? Do you think this time is different? These kinds of questions. I do personally think we're going to have a blow off top, especially if money printing comes to the US. I think you're just going to have like a repeat of 2021. Honestly, that's my base case, right? If I start seeing money printing, right, like stimulus checks or this kind of thing, which is going to be happening apparently in Japan if this thing passes, holy crap. You're going to have.
So, David, what percentage of your portfolio is in cash or cash equivalents
right now?
Yeah.
And actually, let me think. I have to think. 10, 15, maybe 20%, but not much, not a lot. I'm still heavily in crypto.
Yeah, I'm about the same, maybe a little bit more. And at what point would you deploy that?
I'm going to be deploying some now. I think I agree with the 1000X people. I think the fact that we're talking about this for so long means people are scared. The fact that you have people like Bernesky cautioning that this might be the end of things, that's probably the time to start buying stuff. This is not to say that it can't go lower. I imagine it could go a little bit lower, but yeah, I had actually planned to buy stuff this morning, but I had to prepare for token narratives. But yeah,
And would you be allocating to the Bitcoin, or are you looking for higher beta altcoin plays that are depressed?
Me personally, I'm going to allocate a little bit to Bitcoin, but I think there are better opportunities. The Bitcoin is the safest though, right? Because the other stuff can go quite a bit lower, right?
Yeah, I'm
quite a bit lower.
I'm more in the I will buy more Bitcoin camp. Maybe that's because the size of my portfolio isn't as small as it once was.
Nicely done, sir.
It's but yeah, no, like look, Bitcoin's not going to 10x from here in the during this cycle.
No,
so
probably not.
It all depends on the size of your portfolio, right? And how you like your risk management. But anyway, yeah, if Bitcoin drops, I tell myself Bitcoin drops down back to this the bottom part of this range again, call it 104, that I will deploy some of that back into Bitcoin. It's funny though, because a year ago you wouldn't have with Bitcoin at over 110, you're like, oh wow, that's like so overpriced. But it's already been in this range for over a year, and the longer it is at that level, the more it feels like that's just what it is. I'm struggling to explain this, but you know how that.
It's a consolidation. It's a consolidation, and more, and you've actually seen, not just the chart signs of consolidation, right? Consolidation is just the price kind of staying in a range for over time. But we've had sellers. We've had large sellers, just like puke.
And the market
tens of thousands absorbed
that. Yes.
Yeah, and these are deals of, as in, the people who are buying this are not poor people, right? These are not like 80,000 Bitcoin being sold to 80,000 or 100,000 people. This is like 80,000 Bitcoin being sold to 5 people or 1 person, right? So the people who are buying this in these giant meaty chunks, billions worth, they're not planning, I don't think, to sell anytime soon, right? This is not why they're doing that. So that's a great sign to me that around this level is reasonably solid. So yeah, I think that's good.
All right. So maybe just shifting gears here, but on the topic of, so we were talking about how like governments around the world are just like bending over backwards to devalue their currency relative to each other. It's this game that's been going on since the end of World War II and even before then. And then I want to play this clip for you, David, and get your reaction from it. It's a clip that I came across last night. I was listening to the Thoughtful Money podcast. They had they did a conference. They had some big hitters in the macroeconomic space speak at this like 11-hour sort of marathon conference they had. And then they put together sort of the best of notes from like the top speakers at the conference. I want to play this clip for you and get your reaction. It's about the moral case for sound money.
All right. How do you think I'm going to react to this, Graham? I just want to know.
I think you're gonna like drape dripping wet blanket all over it and say, the world needs inflationary currency because that's the only way economic activity happens. You're going to say.
No. It's a good guess, but I would say, to sum up how I feel, is this is absolute folksy political bullshit. It's just, she's a politician, right? I'm assuming. Sounds like a politician. She talks in this like fake folksyism BS that I just absolutely find revolting. If you want to just put your money under a mattress because you're a plumber in Idaho, well, we should have a currency that allows you to do that, because nobody needs these fancy majangled options and derivative markets. Man, it's just stealing money from the American people. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Lady, you are so full of it. I don't like this. So I wrote down a bunch of notes. Here we go. To start with, she talks about wanting a money that has unvarying value, a unit of account that doesn't vary in value. Graham, does that sound like gold to you? Does gold not vary in value? Is that what she's advocating? Or it doesn't make any sense. So it's also just an impossibility. Money varies in value compared to other money, right? Like it trades against other things. And so it will absolutely vary. Bitcoin varies in value. It's going up. Gold's going
David,
up.
I'm just going to go back to my whole...
Hold on. Then she makes this case for there's a moral reason for this. There's a moral reason for this, for money that is dependable. I don't think so. I think like capitalism provides the framework for this, which is, if you are a crap currency and it hyperinflates, your economy is going to go to crap. People are going to take their money and value out of your economy and deploy it elsewhere because they don't have confidence in your ability to, to have a stable government, a stable economic system. And that will make that incentive, that's enough of an incentive to kind of push countries to have a currency that has some stability, right? I don't think morality has anything to do with money whatsoever, because its purpose is not moral in terms of, I don't even know how to say it. Like, its purpose is to provide, in this case, she's talking about like a unit of account, a medium of exchange, or I guess a store of value. These things are not, I don't think, moral or human rights. They're the expectations of a society, maybe. But
I think I agree with you on what you're saying, David. Now
I have more. I wrote more notes.
Let's get to those. But I think maybe what sort of excited me about this, or now that I'm reflecting on it after you shitting all over it, it's like, it's never going to happen what this folksy person is talking about. And that's what makes me bullish on things like Bitcoin, because governments around the world are going to continue to devalue their currency, because that's the only way they can be competitive in the global, like, what do you call it, mercantilist system. And therefore, actual sound money, not money that is actually used, or sort of assets, not money, but assets, will continue to increase in value relative to money. That's just like baked in. It's inevitable, because the governments are never going to actually implement sound money in their countries.
But, I mean,
Bitcoin
is not sound money. Bitcoin is not sound money.
I'm not saying it's sound money. I'm saying that it's a hard asset.
Yeah.
Okay. And because
terrible money.
No country will ever introduce sound money. And I'm not saying that they necessarily should. I don't really know whether that actually could ever make sense. But it seems like it will never happen. And therefore, hard assets will just continue to increase in value relative to currencies. So just don't ever hold currency except tactically for a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there's like a theory on this, which is like crypto and the internet has for the first time in human history been able to kind of like this is another Silicon Valley word I hate. Unbundle. It's been able to kind of start to unbundle this notion of what is money, right? Store of value, unit of account, medium of exchange. Traditionally, those three are all kind of pushed together, but it looks like, and I think there's maybe mounting evidence that this is the case with crypto, and the internet has kind of been. You're going to maybe see this be unbundled, and so Bitcoin will be maybe a store of value. Maybe that's enough. And then the what's it called? Medium of exchange and the unit of account, they could be something else, like stable coins or whatever.
Yeah.
It could, anyway. All right. So I'm sorry. I'm not like, anyway, there's a couple more problems that I had with what she was saying. Let me I felt this a while where I don't think I've ever articulated it exactly, but a lot of politicians and a lot of, I don't know, people on like traditional media have kind of said this folksy kind of thing, like options trading is just ridiculous. This is not the real economy, and this is bad. And it hurts the common man, the plumbers and the air conditioner workers. The truth of the matter, though, is because of the internet, the financialization, the ambient level of financial education, of financial literacy, has just risen so much. It's almost like the rise of literacy itself. And so like Zoomers, every Zoomer, I think everywhere on Earth, no matter what country you're in, they're going to know things about yield, about swaps, about options and derivatives. It's just now permeates everything. And so there's no such thing as this provincial plumber or whatever person who's putting money underneath their bed who doesn't know about options trading and perpetuals and leverage and stuff like that. It's not going to exist. And this kind of person is not going to exist anymore. And so,
so when Ben Bernanke implied that these people are provincial or just idiots, those idiots, they're fewer and far between. And everybody just knows that you don't hold fiat currency.
Yeah, and the reason that this has changed is because the tools to trade in equities and other assets have become the barrier to entry is so low. Just have your smartphone. Everyone has a smartphone, and so then everyone knows about it, right? Anyway. So that's one point, and then the last point is she touches on this subject of something that I hold near and dear to my heart, which is the unfairness or the fairness of like devaluing your currency versus another country. And I've kind of talked about this quite a bit. I just want to like distance myself from her in this regard because she talks about it in terms of like morals. It's just unfair, she says. We need to level the monetary playing field. Is a quote, right? It's just not fair to the Doshgarn American steel workers. If Chiners are subsidizing whatever. I mean, she just sounds like whatever. If these foreigners are devaluing the steel of their whatever. No, that's totally wrong. That's totally wrong. These are nations, right? When you get to the national level, there's no higher authority. There's no arbiter to complain to. There's no one to be like, that's just not fair. I'm going to go talk to my mommy. These are nations. So you think it's unfair? Do something about it. Right.
And that's what they're doing.
That's what exactly.
That's what they do. Right. They're trying to find their competitive advantage, and the way that one of the most common ways they do that is just to devalue their currency relative to others, which gives
or set up tariffs. Set up tariffs.
Yeah.
Have other like trade relationships and say, no, you're out of our club now because you guys you're being bad. Things of that nature, right? So again, I think she's like conflating all these things and making it like a political thing. yeah, I don't know. I resent this lady.
All right. Anything else to discuss there?
Well, I mean, just this brings up a topic that we've often talked about and is kind of been brewing now within the Bitcoin community, especially with OGs, which is Bitcoin is not cash. It's not a peer-to-peer cash system. It's terrible at that. You have like Michael Saylor for Pizza Day, the Pizza Day that just passed here. He put all these pictures of like all the pizzas that he bought, and he said, and it says paid for in fiat. You're like, and then the next message is buy pizza with fiat, save your Bitcoin. The message being never ever spend Bitcoin as money. It's just like, so I mean, we're like, Bitcoin is like way out of the peer-to-peer cash system game that was envisioned in the white paper. Fine, that's fine, but it's not cash at all, right? Like, I don't think it is. Now you have something like Zcash come around, and boy, is it pissing off a lot of OG Bitcoiners. They seem really upset with Zcash. And yeah, I wonder why. And I think one of the reasons is because you can use Zcash as cash. You can use it as a medium of exchange, you know? And I think that philosophically makes a lot of Bitcoiners feel vulnerable, and maybe that Bitcoin is lacking in some way. I don't know if you have thoughts on that.
David, for Bitcoin to continue to be successful, and by successful, I'm going to define it as increase in price. Do you think it needs to actually be used as a medium of exchange for anything beyond like massive global transfers of wealth?
We've talked about this before. I don't know how they deal with the security budget. And if you had Bitcoin be a medium of exchange, as in every block was full because people are using it to transact all the time, that would potentially be a solution, right? I mean, that's the traditional one I've heard since like 2017. Oh, don't worry, transactions, once Bitcoin is everywhere and everyone holds Bitcoin, and it's every major government in the world is knee deep in Bitcoin, then the transactions will pay for the security budget. Wow, how many transactions are happening? And it seems lackluster.
I don't know. My base case for what's going to happen right now is that at a certain point, the security budget will actually become a problem, and it won't have been solved at all by like the transaction fees. And at that point, because there will be so many important stakeholders around the world who have like a lot of money tied up in Bitcoin, they will just be like, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to change the rules of Bitcoin, and we're just going to implement a moderate inflation rate.
You have tail emissions.
And I don't think that is actually going to be. I don't think that's actually going to kill Bitcoin. I think that'll be fine, actually, because it'll be really hard to do that, and the consensus will have to be sort of globally reached. Like there'll probably be multiple forks, but the version that comes out of it, that survives out of it, will have a moderate inflation rate that's not decided behind closed doors by like, a couple of people at the central banks or whatever. It'll actually be decided like politically, globally, like by consensus. And what comes out of it will just be like a sustainable emissions rate that still makes the asset, allows the asset to be sound money, like better sound money than anything else. Gold or whatever. That's what I think is actually most likely to happen at this point, if it survives the whole quantum thing.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we've talked about this a lot before. I can't, man, I want to see the comments on this. I hope we clip that. I want that to be a clip this week, what Graham just said. Get some old Bitcoiner rage bait. But here's the thing. So what you just said, I think, is one of like 2 or 3 likely outcomes. The other is that they're able to do something with this L2 system. The thing that makes me think that might not happen is, remember we asked this, or you asked this about to Hasib Koresh on the live stream. Like, hey, are you interested in Bitcoin? Have you invested? And he was like, to be honest, there's too many of these L2s. It's too fractured. They kind of, there's no dominant player. And he's like, so it's not interesting. It doesn't seem like this ecosystem is going to work until there's like there's like a Coinbase. There's like a base for this ecosystem or something like that. And then at that point, you might see that, this can last. There's some something that's investable here. If at that point this ecosystem does actually kind of last, and it isn't just kind of replaced by Solana bridging or EVM bridging, and they design it in a different way than Ethereum has, where like, all the L2s don't add anything to Ethereum, right? That's another alternative to eventually pay for the security budget, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, what you just said and what I said, I think those are the 2 biggest chances or biggest things that will happen to Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I agree with you. A tail emission is like, it's considered you're being heretical. It's
sacrilegious,
right now.
But that's actually my base case for what's actually going to happen.
Yeah. Anyway. It's weird. I Curtis Yarvin had a post on Bitcoin. Did you read that crazy post?
I didn't.
He talks about Bitcoin being like I think he called it a perfect money, because at least on a game theoretic philosophical way, it has zero emissions, right? I actually disagree. And I know he's a much smarter person than I am, and he used a lot of big words and he knew a lot of things that I don't know. But as we've talked about before, at least as money, a medium of exchange, not a store of value. We're talking about a medium of exchange. You need it to be able to grow, right? To accommodate new people and new economic value, as I've said before. So I don't think Bitcoin, even let's say that the L2 thing works, I just don't think it would be a good money. It would be deflationary, right? There's just only 21 million. Yeah, by definition, it would be deflationary. People are like, well, there's like each one, a sat could be worth more. Yeah, but then that means eventually things are going to start. You have to make the price. You have to reduce the price, right? Yeah. So it's deflationary.
This is all pretty long-term stuff, but I think we're both in the store of value camp, and that for the foreseeable future, the price of Bitcoin is going to keep going up just because it's a good store of value relative to what else is out there. It's technically superior to gold, much smaller market cap. So yeah, not investment advice, but good investment.
Great investment. Yeah.
All right. I think that's pretty good. I think let's wrap it up there today, David, unless you want to get into some of these other topics no one cares about.
Let's see. I would just like to hear you crap on Ethereum a little bit. Just dance on.
Yeah, let's do that. That's fun.
Let's dance on Ethereum's grave a little bit. But to me, honestly, dude, I still own Ethereum. I am very close. I am so close to just selling it all, going to zero after this week. Dude. I mean, holy brutal week, man. Brutal week for Ethereum. And I am anyway, so should we go over what happened?
Something about what is it? Ethereum OG developers getting real jobs now, not working at the EF. And then also I thought it was kind of funny where where $100,000 per year is considered a small amount of money.
Well, if you're like one of 40 people in the world that can do something, that's pretty small. And you're securing a $450 billion chain. It's anyway. So let me just recap really quickly, because people who are watching this probably already know. Ethereum had a rough week. First, Tempo, kind of considered like an Ethereum competitor because it's an L1. It raised at a 5 billion valuation. It raised 500 million at a 5 billion valuation. People are upset about this, saying Ethereum competitor looks really strong, not good. To make matters worse, about Tempo, Dankrad, who is Solana's Mert, has said he said in
Ethereum's Mert.
Solana's Mert said about Dankrad.
Yeah.
Solana's Mert said about Dankrad, and this is a paraphrase, but it was shocking to me. He was like, "Yeah, to be honest, Dankrad is like one of the very few people left in the Ethereum ecosystem that made me bullish or like respect Ethereum, and now he's gone." I was like, "Oh my god, that's crazy, dude." And so, yeah, Dankrad is leaving the Ethereum Foundation to go work at Tempo. So Tempo conceivably is like getting headhunted and going to Tempo. Made a lot of Ethereum people upset. And then the final thing is this guy, the lead dev of the Geth client, Peter Zalagi, maybe butchering that name as usual. He posted a letter after the Dankrad announcement, and this letter was absolutely kind of excoriating the EF. 3 major points. Hold on.
Excoriating?
Like criticizing the hell out of just absolutely taking to task the Ethereum Foundation.
Yeah, you get 5 gold stars for that one. That's a great word.
I'm gonna have to look it up afterwards to make sure I'm right.
See if it's actually a word.
No, it is. I just maybe I'm using it incorrectly. So 3 things he leveled at the Ethereum Foundation. Number 1, even though he was hired for them, he felt like a useful fool, right? Like a useful idiot. He was just basically put up there front and center, but he was just like a puppet. He had no real influence on anything. Number 2 is the thing that you just said. He made 100K, right? He's like he's the lead dev of the Geth client, making 100K. I mean, this is insane for this job. And then number 3, he talked about the centralization of the Ethereum Foundation. Quote, Ethereum may be decentralized, but Vitalik absolutely has complete indirect control over it. Damning. Damning. Ethereum loves to say it's the most decentralized chain. This is like its big thing over like Solana and other things. However, here you have a guy who was the lead dev of Geth, which is a great leading client, I think, for Ethereum, basically saying, yeah, maybe the chain's decentralized, but it is centrally controlled by one man. So that was rough, very, very, very rough, and it basically, to me, shows that the Ethereum Foundation has been run very poorly, and it's kind of like where there's smoke, there's fire. Here's the fire, or the remains of a fire, that we talked about all year, about how like these weird things that Ethereum's doing or not doing, and all these people leaving, right? Like Max Resnick went to Solana. The 00 people, they were at, I think, Ethereum first, and they moved to Solana. You have just this exodus over the years, and everybody there was the smoke. And now I feel like this week you're starting to get like, oh, here's the fire. Here's the remainders of the fire. Like, damn, this organization is not run well. It has done a terrible job stewarding Ethereum and the ecosystem. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Graham was right.
Yeah, well, I don't know. End of the day, I just never. I just don't see how, even if Ethereum is well run, how the token can continue to accrue value. It's not a store of value. It's supposed to, like, it's not. It can't compete with Bitcoin. So the monetary premium is overblown, and you don't need ETH in any material amount to use the platform. So why should Ethereum be worth whatever it is, $300 billion? Even if the thing like does run the entire global financial system, there's just still no reason for ETH to exist, like at a large market cap. You just need a tiny amount of it to get things done on it. The assets that live on it, okay, fine, they could have value, but if ETH itself, I just don't see. And the same actually applies with pretty much every smart contract chain, I think, including Solana, which I'm bullish on, but not because of the fundamentals, just because it's better run. Narratives, yeah, it's just better run, and I expect it to pump. It doesn't make economic sense for it to increase in price, in my opinion, but that economic sense never really bothered like anyone from investing in things in the crypto space.
Yeah. I mean, so even from that perspective, or actually maybe even more specifically from that perspective, this kind of like narrative blow to Ethereum is just damning. You know what I was thinking though when I was writing this document? I was thinking the thought that we had, the thing that we used to say all through this past year, which is like, but maybe this is the bottom, Graham. The fact that I'm about to fully give up on Ethereum, maybe this is where it actually turns around.
Yeah, sell it all.
But just one last thing on this topic, because I heard this today, this week, and it also is kind of in the is Ethereum over camp, but it's actually kind of more interesting. So I heard somebody talk about this, and I just want to get your thoughts. So this person said, generalist L2s, i.e. L2s that kind of do everything, that are basically in some sense clones of the L1 itself, i.e. base, Arbitrum, optimism. Generalist L2s are bad. They need to focus on L2s need to focus on one particular use case, one particular vertical, and optimize heavily for that. If you're going to do stable coins, that's all you do, right? If you're the perp dex, that's what your L2 is. It's the perp dex, right? Otherwise, these L2s compete with the L1, and the L1, because the L1 is a generalist platform, and they compete both for like block space, but they also compete for like mind share. And they're not doing any one thing particularly well, right? They're just not good. And I was wondering what your thoughts were on that.
I that makes sense to me. And we've seen that anytime a project gets real traction, what do? They launch their own chain. So L2s only exist as launch pads for projects, and maybe they can keep doing that. But anytime anyone gets any success, they'll just launch their own thing, and eventually their own chain. Eventually, projects will just skip the L2 entirely, because the cost for launching your own like chain will get so low that you won't need to launch it. Only the poorest of the poor will launch on an L2 or an L1. They'll just make their own chain. and just interoperability for the win, I guess, like bridging or whatever, back end. Yeah, that's not. Don't see much future in it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not as pessimistic as you. I think you could see, like, for example, Solana get a bunch of L2s that are like maybe like just a game. Well, this is a game and it's an L2, or like a perp dex. But I mean, I guess they want to launch perp dexes on the L1. Whatever it is, I don't know. I still think you could have like an L1 maybe, and then a satellite of like L2 apps. But you're right. Like Hyperliquid did. Once the app gets big enough, you would absolutely, like, if it became $20-30 billion company, you would just launch your own chain then, right? And you just become, and the users wouldn't care, right? Because they're just using the front end.
Exactly.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, and similar with all the stable coins, like you're seeing a growing number of sort of white labeled stable coins native to apps themselves. Like, I don't think there's necessarily any reason for a stable coin to dominate on a chain. Like it's just sort of the same incentives are at play. Why give away why give away that yield? Why not just manage it yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think honestly that's the way of the future, is that yield will be captured mostly by whatever chain it's on, and the participants on the chain. And so then the stablecoin, how do you say, the stablecoin issuer is their margins are just going to compress from that. So
anyway. All right. I'm getting pretty out of my league here, David, more so than usual.
Let's just briefly talk about a couple comments. Sorry, dude. Just want to get in here. Useless Chad, he said, thank God, the hopium we all needed. So glad I turned into the sesh, talked me off the ledge of selling. You're welcome, sir. One big caveat. If you
this is not investment advice.
This is not investment advice, but also if you own a bag of like shit coins, we're not talking about those, really.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well,
are we?
Yeah. I mean, I think yourself said that you're looking at
not shit coins.
Not shit coins. You're looking at quality alts.
Yes.
That are at like reasonable valuations here, I guess, right?
Yeah, depressed valuations, I would say. So again, you really like what is it? The most altcoins are gonna trend to zero over time, I think, right? So really, just if you're having trouble, buy Bitcoin. That's it. Not financial advice, but that's it. All right, one other comment. This kind of relates to what we just said. New FL0007. There's a gazillion alts. People were sold crap with the promise of it's going to moon in alt season. There's a few good projects, and when the time comes, if the time comes, those will go well. That's what I believe. I believe that too. I believe that 100%. I think because there's a gazillion alts, this emphasizes it even more, right? Like Pump.fun, these token launchers, they make it even more acute that that only a few projects, and those few projects will do well.
Honestly, I in 2021 and 2017, more 2021, I was more knowledgeable, I guess, than 2017, because that's when 2017 was when I first started getting into the crypto space. In 2021, I was shocked that the entire market, just everything went up. Like, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is everything going up? And but I guess I was also naive to think that fundamentals mattered. Maybe I was ahead of my time. Let's call it that, because now fundamentals do matter. The market, I guess, crypto is still early in 2021, and people were just like, yeah, the crypto. I'm investing in crypto, and they just put it in everything, anything. I'll just buy crypto. I don't care what it is. But now there's just like, yeah, there's so many coins that you can't do that. You actually have to invest in something that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't pertain to these like trenchers who are kind of like I would consider like these Adderall out kind of twitchy people who buy things for like 5 minutes. Fine, I'm sure you can do something there. All right, 2 more comments. This is on YouTube. Need the right connection to select I don't mix with politics. Every day they smile with you and nothing is funny. Politrick. Thanks for the 2025 update. Yeah, man. Probably best not to mix politics with politics. Although these days it's almost unavoidable. At least from the Trump perspective, because you have to pay attention to what he does and say. He moves markets. I would just say read it as a signal. Maybe don't look at it as politics. You're welcome on the updates. And last one. So where to from here for Ethereum? Massive utility. Graham, I'll let you take that one away. Where to from here, Graham, with Ethereum?
Yeah, I mean, it might pump, but I'd be fading that.
What do you make?
If I had a bag, I would be. I guess if I had a bag of Ethereum, I probably would just sell it
right now. You would sell it right now.
Yeah. I don't know how. If I was, I guess I probably like it. If Ethereum, if we do get a big pump, why would Ethereum pump more than anything else?
Yeah,
so
that's true. Very, very true.
The DAT play is over for Ethereum.
Yeah, definitely. All right. What do you make of this massive utility comment here at the very end? Massive utility.
Yeah, as I said, it doesn't matter how much utility Ethereum has, because you don't need ETH to use Ethereum. You just need a tiny amount of ETH. You need like a couple bucks.
Or go on an L2. Go on like Optimism or Arbitrum. Do you even need it then?
Yeah. Then you need like a couple of cents. So,
oh man. All right. Well, thank you everybody for leaving comments. We appreciate it. Keep those comments coming.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Let's wrap it up, David. Yeah. Thanks for your insights as usual, and have a great weekend.
Weekend.
All right. Adios.